It's 1700 GMT. This is 97.3 Citi FM. There's a 2-hour-long radio program, like I've been saying to you, which offers you great interviews, analysis, news summaries, and more. We also have Talk Back. It's a segment later on the show where we hear from you via WhatsApp and X. So send your messages to the stories that we're bringing you when we announce the headlines. I am Umaru Sandamadu, your host for Eyewitness News tonight. And coming up over the next 2 hours or so, we'll tell you about the clash between the Ministry of Agric and the Ministry of Finance over budgetary allocations. Now, should this be seen as a regular bureaucratic challenge or a bigger presidential ambition between the two sector ministers? That's a conversation we have here on Eyewitness News. Also coming up, the proposal by the Minister for Communication on the requirement of proof of ID before accessing porn sites and betting platforms. Now, there are lots of fallouts to that particular issue we have here on Eyewitness News. And later on the show, we hear from the Eastern Regional Secretary of the NDC, who resigned as NITA boss to fight for his position. He has chosen party over NITA. We'll ask him what exactly he's doing. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. We have business news also later on the show. If you want to send your messages to the show on WhatsApp, the number is 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. You can mention me at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. That's on X. Do add the hashtag Eyewitness News when you send your message. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Before I introduce my guest, I want you to just briefly listen to this quick teaser in relation to the conversation around a requirement of proof of ID before accessing pornographic sites and betting platforms.
And we're working with going to cabinet on that to make sure that before you access any X-rated site, you must put either your driver's license or your national ID card so that we know who you are and who is going to that site to prevent children from being exposed.
So that's Samuel Attah-Mensah, his Minister for Communication and Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram. We'll be having more on this particular conversation. But first, let's talk about what appears to be a fight between the ministry in charge of agriculture and the ministry in charge of finance. Now, 2 days ago, Deputy Minister for Finance and Member of Parliament for Esojaman made an announcement that an amount of 1.6 billion cedis had been released to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture for its operations. Now, it is not every day that you hear of a quote-unquote fight between ministries in the same government. But this is what is happening. Now, there was a swift statement issued, or a statement was issued swiftly by the head of media relations, or the media liaison officer at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Even the headline of that statement, or the title, is something you should, look at. It's titled, "Stop the Infantile Propaganda Before It Explodes." That's the title of a press statement issued by the media liaison officer at the office of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Samuel Attah-Mensah. That's his name. I'll be speaking to him in a bit. His statement is titled, "Stop the Infantile Propaganda Before It Explodes." And the statement reads, "The attention of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has been drawn to claims by the Ministry of Finance that it has released 1.6 billion cedis, representing 85% of MOFA's 2026 budgetary allocation. These claims do not align with the official budget execution documents issued by the Ministry of Finance itself." On 15th February 2026, the Ministry of Finance issued a commitment authorization to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. However, just 4 days later, on 19th February 2026, the Ministry of Finance issued the 2026 first and second quarter budget allotment letter, which explicitly stated that notwithstanding the contents of the commitment authorization, MOFA's total expenditure for the first half of the year should not exceed 910 million cedis. Now, the statement continues to say many other things, but I want to take you to our website, citinewsroom.com, so that we look at the genesis of this particular story. Now, the story, like I said to you, came up, or the statement came following an earlier statement issued by, not a statement issued, but rather a statement made by the Minister Deputy for for Finance, I beg your pardon, the Honorable Ampem Dakun. The story is published on our website by Netele Neti from the Citi Business Desk, and it's titled 1.6 billion cedis has been disbursed to Agric Ministry. That's according to Finance Ministry. The story was on June 5, and it says that the Ministry of Finance has insisted that it has released more than 1.6 billion cedis to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, representing 85% of the ministry's 2026 budget allocation for goods and services and capital expenditure, CAPEX. The clarification comes after the Ministry of Food and Agriculture disputed the Finance Ministry's claim that more than 1.6 billion had been released to it, saying it had not received the funds despite the announcement made on Thursday, June 4, 2026. However, records from the Ministry of Finance show that releases for goods and services have reached 94.73% of the approved allocation, while releases for capital expenditure stand at 74.66%. Quote, "This is clear proof that the Ministry of Finance has released over 1.6 billion cedis to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, representing 85% of MOFA's 2026 budget allocation for goods and services and capital expenditure, CAPEX." That's according to the ministry. The ministry further explained that except for funds released to the National Food Buffer Stock Company, all requests for goods and services funding were initiated by MOFA through the government's financial management system. Another quote from the statement says, "For goods and services, all the requests were initiated by MOFA itself, with the exception of the release made to the National Food Buffer Stock Company." Unquote. The Finance Ministry noted that the transactions were processed through the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIFMIS, which is used by the ministry's departments and agencies to submit and track funding requests. As shown in the spreadsheet, that's another quote, "Every transaction is backed by a requisition date, journal number, approval date, and warrant number," the ministry added. The journal and warrant numbers are system generated under GIFMIS. This is a standard process through which all ministries, departments, and agencies generate and process requests on GIFMIS. So that is it. That is the initial statement that has come through. But a lot more is happening. I want to bring you a few more stories that are related to the two ministers. So if you go to our website, Finance Agric Ministries clash over 1.6 billion funding claim. But there's another story that says political watchers link finance and agric dispute to early NDC succession jostling. Could that be true? Story by Fred Jabano, head of current affairs production here. It says the public disagreement between Finance Minister Dr. Kesela Tuforsin and Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku over the release of more than 1.6 billion to the agriculture sector is fueling speculation about early succession politics within the governing National Democratic Congress. Political observers say the dispute, though centered on budget allocations and expenditure authorizations, is increasingly being viewed through the lens of party's future leadership contest once President John Mahama completes his tenure. Both ministries have in recent months been mentioned by party activists and political commentators as possible contenders in a future NDC presidential race. So, in fact, I have Fred Jabano. Fred is the man who authored this particular story. And so let me just drag him in briefly before he goes back to other businesses. Fred, on the surface, it looks like there's a bureaucratic issue. Finance Ministry says it has released funds. Agric Ministry says, no, that has not happened. But you are giving this a political twist, or you are thinking that there's a political connection to this. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so Sanda, outside the issue of monies being released by the Finance Ministry and to the Agric Ministry and the disagreement which has followed, there are a lot of political watchers who have been following this particular case and this particular story since it broke somewhere 2 hours ago. They've been making comments. I've reached out to a number of political watchers. I've also scanned through what has been happening within the NDC for the last few months. And Sanda, you'd realize that a lot of people see that this particular fight is not just a fight between two ministries, but it's a fight between two personalities who are believed to be interested in the NDC flag bearership race. Who succeeds John Dramani Mahama? You have a Greek minister who has a task of ensuring that the agric sector and the promises by the NDC during the 2024 campaign are achieved. You have a finance minister who is supposed to ensure that the economy is working, but this finance minister also controls the government's money. Whatever money is disbursed, it comes from the finance ministry. This particular finance minister is also believed to be interested in contesting the 2028 elections. When you look at the two people, and even outside these two people, there are other people within the NDC who have raised similar concerns about the allocation and distribution of money from the finance ministry to different ministries. It is the position of the finance ministry and the people close to the finance minister that these things are being done to ensure that there's a greater fiscal discipline and there's a greater use of Ghana's money very well. On the other side, the people who are supposed to be receiving this monies on behalf of their ministries also believe that that's not the case. It is the case of one person who wants to be president, who sees that there are other people who may threaten his chances of becoming president. So what does he do? He's cutting the funds. And this is a deep issue. This is not just a finance ministry, agriculture ministry issue. It even goes down to the education ministry, where recently you heard the education minister also raising some concerns about money not released from the finance ministry. It also comes on the back of the ongoing internal discussions of whether the flag bearership, people interested in the NDC flag bearership race, should all hold on and wait for the government to perform. Now, the Council of Elders 2 days ago released a statement warning and advising every individual who is interested in succeeding John Mahama to hold on and work for the government to succeed.
So now, in the one you just referred, the education ministry. So now we have this statement from the agric ministry.
Yeah.
Very, very scathing, if you want. And this is a Ministry of Agric spokesperson. Clearly, he would have gotten the blessings of his boss. Then you mentioned the Minister for Education. Now, I'm just looking at the story done by Kennedy Odami-Chumesi on our website on April 14, 2026. That's citinewsroom.com. The story is titled Budget Constraints. Again, the same budget. Budget constraints limit teacher recruitment to 7,000, according to Haruna Idrisu. That story says the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has defended the recruitment of 7,000 teachers and criticism that the figure falls short of the country's educational needs. According to him, financial constraints have limited the government's ability to recruit more teachers despite growing demand across the nation. Now, if you look at the quote, if resources, this is a quote, if resources were available, we should be employing and recruiting up to 50,000 teachers across the country. But due to budgetary constraints, we are unable to do that. The Ministry of Education sought clearance from the Ministry of Finance to recruit up to 7,000 teachers with degree and diplomas. Accordingly, the process has been advertised in open, transparent manner. So it may not be direct, but you say that there's some subtlety to it here.
Yes, there is. There is, in the sense that all the people or the ministries you've mentioned, the leadership or the head of the ministry, which is the ministers, or which are the ministers, are people who are all believed. I'm using the word believed because they have not formally come out to say they are interested or not, but are believed to be interested in succeeding John Mahama. It's becoming an issue in the NDC because some few weeks ago, the national chairman of the party has been going on a thank you tour. It's been a concern to many. The Minister of Education made some comments which was believed to be subtly in response to what the national chairman went to do in his constituency. You've heard of the finance ministry for a very long time is always there have been the rumors. Finance minister wants to be president. Agric minister wants to be president, but they've all openly not come out.
Okay.
This fight, which is an issue of money, and you know what money does in politics. Once you have the money, you are able to perform what you are supposed to perform or expected to perform in your ministries. Without money, you are unable to perform those things. So when it's time to campaign, what is the message?
Okay.
I promise to make sure that we have an economy which is running. I have it. I promise to ensure that the agric sector is growing. I have done it. Can it be done without the money? No.
Okay.
So there's a belief that what's happening is a subtle fight between these people interested in succeeding John Mahama. And in the days and months to come, we're expected to see a lot more of these things happening within the government space.
That's Fred Jabano. He's ahead of current affairs here at Citi FM. I'll go on the phone line for an interview, but before that, let me introduce my guest before me. Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. You're welcome.
Thank you, Bob.
How are you doing?
I am fine.
When I hosted an NDC deputy 2 days ago, I said to him, there were two options. Either I say Uyemizu, he'll say Uyemiza, or Eyezu, he'll say Eyeza. NPP, what should I do? Kukurudu. Is she?
Rado.
Is that the only one? You don't have any other one? You don't have...
We have a lot.
Oh, but you see, when it comes to rally, NDC people can charge more than NPP people.
They are good at slogans.
I didn't know that the thing was going to go against them like that. I'll come back to you. Let me speak to Andy Kankam. Andy Kankam is a journalist, managing editor of the Informer newspaper. Andy, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Omar Sanda. Good evening to your cherished listeners.
Good evening to you, Fonye. This confusion fight, I don't even know the proper term to use, between the Ministry of Agric and Ministry of Finance, should it have even come public in the first place?
Omar, that's why it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that two cabinet ministers will come in the open fighting each other over some allocation, budgetary allocation, or some releases to the ministry. You know, as Fred Jabano said in his opening remarks, trying to give the background to the president's promise as to deliver some tangible projects in the Greek sector, feed Ghana, what have you. We've been around. I've been part and very closer to this governance in this country. And at the core of it is that there's no central control. And I lay this squarely at the doorstep of the president.
Oh.
I lay this squarely at the door of the president. But you can see...
But what has the president done in this matter?
Listen, I'm coming. It started when the secretary to the president came out with a epistle, an article warning ministers in the Mahama administration who are picking before their time that if they will not help, they have no such patience to help the president deliver on his mandate with regards to promises and policies, then they should exit. That should tell you that all is not well. You understand? So two ministers, you have not made such a release to my ministry. Why didn't you come out to announce it for me to look back? In this case, I support the defense or the position taken by the Greek minister. You've not made such a release to me. You came on a public forum and announced that you have released XYZ amount. When it is not true, you expect me to just, gloss over it because of what? Though it's bad for governance, and the optics is not good. And I said that the president must begin to crack the whip. You see, it all started when the education minister came out that, we gave clearance for some recruitment, but the finance minister is saying that he can only recruit 7. What was the discussion and the agreement at cabinet? Because there must be some discussions at cabinet that, Mr. President, as finance minister, the education minister has brought a BYZ request. indicating that he wants these persons or number of persons employed as far as teacher recruitment is concerned, just to augment and help fill the deficit. Because day in, day out, like EduWatch, that education think tank, they've been giving us reports about how, some villages, some part of the country, their classrooms are without teachers, meaning that we still have that deficit to cure. So, yes, based on that, Mr. Finance Minister, find money for them. But if the Education Minister is saying that, I made this request, but the Finance Minister said that this is the amount that the number of people that I can recruit, to tell you that all is not well. What consensus is being built at Cabinet? You understand? And apart from that, we've also heard about this political, presidential ambition of some ministers within the Mahama administration. Just last year, at the tail end of last year, there were news all over that, listen, ministers, some of the ministers, including the Greek ministry, right, from intelligence sources, complaining that, listen, some releases are not coming, even budgetary approval, though Parliament has approved their budget for onward release of funds to them by the finance ministry, they are not getting it, so they are not able to do anything. So in this case, a forum created, a platform created for the minister, a Greek minister, to also drum home and come out with some policies that his ministry or government intends to roll out so as to help in rice production, to cut down on the country's dependency on this importation of rice, and you come out to say that you have on his platform to say that, I have made this amount of release, and which is not true. I don't expect the Greek minister to just shut his mouth and say that, because we are all part of the system government, I should allow it to go. It is not the best. It's because of this presidential ambition of some of these ministers. And the finance minister has been accused of sabotaging colleague ministers whom he feels or thinks that they also have, they also nursing this presidential ambition. You understand? This is not the first time we've heard it. So the president is the one who has to act on this? What can he do? No, he must act. Why should your two cabinet ministers go in the open to be doing this? There's no central control. So he must begin to crack the whip. Once the president is busy on his store trying to look for investors to come and help the country in terms of delivering on his promises and policies, his government is in flames. He's in flames, and you think that Ghanaians will forgive him? Ghanaians will not forgive him. They voted for him. What should he do? Sack them from his government? So the party has said, sack them. But President Kufuor, former President Kufuor, that's why I said when it comes to leadership, you must tell people that you are the one in charge. Who is in charge? Is President Mahama really in charge? Yesterday it was an article from his secretary warning appointees who are picking before their time, and then came, as if that was not enough, then the Council of Elders came with their statement warning appointees just to slow down, and this presidential ambition, they should slow down, they should help in the resetting Ghana agenda, what have you. But you see, the buck stops where? The president. And the president must show leadership and crack the whip. When people were picking before their time, President Kufuor then sacked them. Leave my government, resign, and go and contest. If you think that you cannot help me deliver on my promises. You see, these appointees are forgotten that whatever they are doing, whatever their ambition, the bottom line is you have to campaign on the legacy of President Mahama, given his good work. So if you not help him to deliver, then you have no business being in government. Ghanaians will not forgive President Mahama, right? if for any disappointment, because see, the teeming youth, the unemployed youth are in hurry. They want to work. Where are the jobs? Feed Ghana. Where that policy? What's the fate of the policy? 24-hour economy. What is the fate of 24-hour economy? Today they have set up an authority, that bureaucratic structure. And in the words of my senior colleague Kwesi Pratt, he said because of the bureaucratic process that this policy is being taken through, I mean, he is tempted to suggest that the policy will end up being what? An intellectual masturbation. Apologies to your listener. But you see, it's because of this inordinate desire by some of these appointees to succeed the president. Today, pools, so minister is leading. So minister is leading. So minister is leading. So minister is leading. I don't believe in those pools. Those voodoo pools, I don't believe in those pools.
Oh, Musa Dangwa is actually online with me. Is this your?
No, I don't believe in those pools. I have not mentioned any. I've not made any reference to his pools. But I don't believe in those pools because see, even the finance minister, even if they want to take a vote at cabinet, he won't even get 3. He only vote for himself because his colleagues go out with him.
But Ghanaians will be happy that he's forcing, he's managing the economy. So if he doesn't get from cabinet, they are just 19 or 20 or 17. He will get bigger votes outside, and among the bigger party folks who think that he has helped the Mahama government to look good. Or you don't think so?
So I'm saying that it's not good for President Mahama and his government. This is a grand deception. This is a grand deception being perpetuated on the people of this country.
Andy,
and in fact,
Andy, please hold on. I want to talk to Musa Dankwa. I'll come back to you. Just be on the line for me. Musa Dankwa is the head of Global Info Analytics. And you have been doing polls in NDC. The last time, Mustafa Gbandi said no NDC party member should talk to you because you are distracting them. And the Kankam is a journalist with a soft spot for the NDC. He says this polling thing is voodoo, nothing. It's not true. So the things you are proposing or the things you claim are on the ground, they are not on the ground. How do you respond before I let him leave?
Global Info doesn't work with emotions. We've always relied on data. And everything we have said is backed by data. And nobody, wherever level of government that person is. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just that there's a guy in your background. His photo is looking like you're the one who is. It's like he's your CEO.
Oh, it's my corporate banner.
Okay, that's fine. Continue.
Look, some people are not happy we are putting the facts out there. And they were very same people who were very happy when we were doing this in 2023, 2024, 2025. Today, they are the ones who are insulting us. And they don't believe in that. I don't want them to believe in it. But what I can assure everybody is that what we are doing is absolutely correct and right to do so under any democracy. Opinion polls are not supposed to misdirect ministers to misbehave. And indeed, if they are to be minded by the data, the delegates are telling us what is important for them in terms of who replaces Mahama. And they've been saying performance, vision, and good servant of the government. So if they are misbehaving, how can they perform? If they are misbehaving, how can they espouse their vision? If they are misbehaving, how can they be good servant of the government? So we are not telling them that they should focus on their job, per what people are telling us. So, I mean, I don't think Andy Kankam's comment would take anything away from what we do. We're not going to listen to anybody as far as our work is concerned, Umaru.
Okay. Andy, who can crown me here no more? That's essentially what Musa Dankwa is saying. Thank you for speaking to us. Unless there's anything you want to say, I'll let you go so that I'll continue with Musa.
Umaru, you see, why I said I don't believe in these polls, and these polls seems to be creating confusion among these ministers, that you are in the lead. Every day, the finance minister is in the lead, 30-something%, and the rest are trolling. And so the finance minister is seen as sabotaging other colleagues not releasing funds to their ministry to also work, so they can use that as a trump card to go or before delegates to say that, oh, this is my record. When I was at the ministry, this is what SABYZ that I have achieved. Based on that, I think that when I put myself forward and I'm voted for, I'll do more. The pools these voodoo pools are just creating confusion.
But Andy, you can't be calling voodoo pools. You are a journalist you have published pools in the past.
No problem. Apologies. So what I'm saying is that these pools, I don't believe in these pools. And I let me repeat it.
Have you not, as a newspaper, published polls in the past before?
Listen, I'll publish polls. But you see, what the polls are saying is not a reflection of what is on the ground.
But polling is a scientific work. I'm telling you don't believe in science?
The situation currently in NDC is not what the polls are capturing.
Because it doesn't favor your candidate, perhaps?
No, I don't have a candidate. I'm just worried. That these ministers are not helping President Mahama. Because look, I am telling you that what the clash between the finance minister and that of the agriculture minister is a grand deception that is not good for governance. I have been around for a very long time. And you see, I expect President Mahama to crack the whip because his government is in flames.
Very well. Thank you so much. Andy Kankam is editor of the Informer newspaper, speaking to us on that issue. This is 97.3 Citi FM. It's 17:32 or 28 minutes to 6 p.m. or 5:32 p.m., which means this would have been the time we're starting Eyewitness News. But if you're just tuning in, Eyewitness News started 30 minutes ago because the show now broadcasts from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and across the country on our partner stations and also on our website as well as on YouTube and Facebook. I am Umaru Sanda Amado. I remain your host on Eyewitness News. In studio, I have Haruna Mohammed, who is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. You just heard Andy Kankam, editor of the Informer newspaper. I also have on Zoom Musa Dankwa, who is the boss at Global Info Analytics, who has been doing some polling in the NDC, which polling a lot of the NDC people are not happy with, but he says, Okanokrana meye no more. Musa, so do you agree though that this fight, quote and unquote, we have seen between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Finance could be as a result of a bigger issue relating to presidential ambitions?
I don't think anybody can sit here and deny that, because there is sufficient rumors that Agriculture Minister would contest. And there is also rumor that Attah-Mensah might contest. So you can't deny that. Now, what people are really focusing on is not really the issue as far as I'm concerned. You know that your success is hinged on performance of your government. And if that is the case, then I expect every minister to focus on performance. If you feel there are maybe challenges to your ministry, I think that's not the polling for me, an issue that I should be talking about. They can discuss it among themselves at cabinet and see how best to resolve those issues. But yes, ambitions are there, and somebody may think that somebody may try to scupper his ambition, and they have the right to raise red flags.
Okay, now, but should there be a fight between these two? How are they looking on the polls? I thought Mosquito was in a comfortable lead.
In fact, Moro, I don't understand why
Musa
Umaru. I don't understand why these guys are attacking me. Look, there are two sets of polls. There are the polls for the general public who don't vote to elect NDC flag bearers. And Attah-Mensah has never led in the delegates poll. And he's never led it throughout the entire period of polling until March. So for someone to just say that he has been leading is false. It's actually false. Now, if you look at the public, the general public, as who they prefer to lead NDC, it is Attah-Mensah on 32%, Asirin Kitia on 25%, Haruna Dusu on 23%, Jenana on 14%, and others on 5%. That is from the public. The public don't vote to elect NDC flag bearers. When it comes to the delegates, The delegates, Attah-Mensah is not leading. The man who leads is Mosquito, 29%. Attah-Mensah is 19%. Haruna is 11%. 8% to Zebra, another 8% for Professor Jena Nopoku. Others 1%, and 24% said they are undecided. So when people make allegations and so kind of, it's just baffling. Look, this is the reality on the ground. I can come that this is the reality at the time we spoke with them. We don't sit in our office and extrapolate. We talk to real human beings, real delegate on daily basis. If he doesn't know, he should go to his own constituency and ask whether we've been calling them or not. We won't sit here to falsify any data for anybody. If he doesn't believe in it, so be it. There are those who didn't believe in our data, and they said those who believe in our data will have diarrhea on election day. It turned out that it was they who were having diarrhea on election day.
So a word to the wise is in global info analytics. Now, just a comment outside polling. Andy thinks the president has to act by calling his people to order, by showing that he's in charge. There's a concern and a fear, and I think President Akufo-Addo had the same thing, and that is why many people say the MPP's flag bearer race delayed when he was in office, because the sitting president tends to become lame duck when a leader of the party is elected. What should President Mahama do now? Should he just continue with his governance and sack everybody from the party or from the government who wants to, engage in flag bearer shenanigans, or he should let the status quo remain? What should he do?
Look, Umaru, what we are seeing between the Agriculture Ministry and Finance Ministry is bureaucratic issues of processes that can be dealt with within that context. But as to the campaign activities, I think maybe there should be some guidelines. Look, there's nothing wrong for people to do or to start doing exploratory studies or research to find out their chances. That is not campaigning. That's about facts finding and see whether you are viable or not. I don't think people should be banned from doing scientific work. That would be unfair, because if you do that and then you have to open the nomination at a later date, they'll have no time to do anything. And that would lead them to making some bad decisions. So I believe there should be minimum guidelines that would be given to people in cabinet. That if you are a cabinet member, this is what we expect of you with regards to the selection of leadership that is coming some years ahead. And that would be helpful. But in terms of stamping his authority, I think he should stamp his authority. And those who are not falling in line, I think they can be asked to step aside.
Musa, please stay with me. Don't go away. I have a few more people I want to get a reaction from. I'll come to you. Please stay with me. Let me bring in Haruna Idrisu. Did I say Haruna Idrisu? Haruna Mohammed. But you're from Haruna Idrisu's constituency? Or?
No, I have an independent constituency.
Oh, where are you from? Which constituency?
I'm from Zabzugu.
Oh, you're from Zabzugu? Not Tamale?
He rather has some of his relatives in my constituency.
In your constituency? Oh, okay.
Because I'm a royal from my constituency.
Okay. This one, they are not. So you are likely going to go to Yendi one day. Do you have the possibility of getting to Yendi?
No, my skin doesn't go to Yendi. Yendi has its own. It has those who goes to
the part
skin of Yendi.
That's
yes.
Myong. And
yes.
Okay. So you are not part.
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. Please, we are talking about Dagbon. That's right. In case you didn't understand, we're talking about the chieftaincy institution in Tamale, the capital being Yendi for the traditional authority. And that's why I said Yendi, where you go to the palace there. But Haruna, you are watching this confusion or this fight between the NDC Minister for Education and the NDC Minister for Agriculture. What's your reading of the situation? Do you see presidential ambition in there, or this pure government business?
Thank you very much, Umaru. First, I would say good evening to your cherished listeners and your followers over the social media handles. I'm worried as a Ghanaian, as a farmer, and also as a politician. I'm worried because this goes further to affect the very foundation of our agriculture system. It also goes to affect the trust system. It also goes to affect the power system within the governance states. If I have power over you, I would use you to get what I want. If you have resources with me, I will sit on it and come out to paint a picture to show that you have it, but you refuse to perform. So these are the scenarios that I am worried about, because governance is meant to be open and everybody should be given the level playing ground, irrespective of the resources that is put before you. Whether there is competition, there must always be cooperation. And I believe that what is happening now is very worrying. And Umaru, the response from the Minister of Agric is what is even making me to ask a number of questions. It has been said that stop the infantile propaganda before it explodes. It means that we haven't gotten explosion yet. Yes, it is just ko. And this is what we are experiencing. So if you are using such words as infantile, does that mean that the finance minister is an infant? He's a very matured human being.
No, he acts as an infant. No, not like he's an infant.
No, but he uses the word.
I mean, so that's
okay,
which makes it worse.
It's English language.
Which makes it worse.
It makes it worse. So it is something that is very worrying.
Mm-hmm.
The NDC has the opportunity to govern, and they should prove to us. We farmers from the north are complaining. Umaru, I cannot farm the number of acreages I farmed last year. I cannot.
Why?
My soya beans is still there. If I sell the soya beans, I cannot be able to buy the input. I cannot go to the farm again. I can't till the land because it will be less than the expenditure I kept into the farm. If I sell my maize today, I cannot even buy fertilizer, not to talk of seed, not to talk of going to plow. I cannot. If I sell my rice today, I will not be able to even till the land. I can't get a combined harvester to come and harvest it because the money that I'm going to get will be 30% of the cost of what I did last year. These are what farmers are facing in the north. And for us to see the kind of releases or allotment that has been put in there in terms of farmer centers, farmers today are looking for tractors. Tractors are not where to be found. These people in their 2025 budget did a lot of budgetary allocations for some of these particular implements. We can't see them. Today they are fighting. Why are we fighting? We need food to feed the people of Ghana. We need changes in our standard of living. We need positive impact on the people of Ghana. And I think that this particular fight should stop. It should stop. The propaganda should stop. The power struggle should stop. Let everybody have a level playing ground.
Who can stop it?
I think the president has the power because the president, everything the bus stop with the president. And I believe that the president in his own agreement came out with a code of conduct. He had a code of conduct for his appointees. Mm-hmm. He should go through the code and have sanctions on this particular matter. I believe that the code of conduct will have punitive measures in there for such this misconduct.
I'll come back to you.
Can I touch on the polling issue? Yes. You see, we as a political party, I have always said, Musa Dankwa will do his post. It doesn't favor us. We accept, but we disagree because it's an intellectual exercise. Everybody in this country, be it a journalist, be it academia, be it anywhere, they do polling. Mm-hmm. So when polling happens, it is for you to now take that particular outcome of the poll as an input to your own. Give it to your research department to look at it. Today, because it doesn't favor you, because there is power struggle within your party, you are saying that he should stop it. And this is not the first time. This is a journalist saying who is affiliated to them. This is the deputy general secretary who has also said, my colleague, to caution Musa Dankwa. But if you ask Musa Dankwa today, we as a political party have not called him out to stop. We only disagree.
They haven't called him as a political party.
No, they said they should stop. He's a political... This is the deputy general secretary speaking. As I speak here, I'm very careful. My personal input does not matter here. Whatever thing that I say here represents the view of the party, and I'm very careful how I represent my views. And that is why when you are elected as a leader, you must act as a leader. Take your personal interest out. Even on my Facebook wall, I don't write anything. I make sure that what I write should be able to trace to the ideology of the party. I should be able to portray myself as a leader so that whatever I say be a true representation of the party.
Unless your account is hacked, of course.
Yeah, if my account is hacked, fine. But I've put enough security measures, but I don't know what will happen in the future. No. But I think that some of these things do happen. So I don't think that calling Musa Dankwa to stop is the right thing. He should continue to do. When it favored them in Akotia, they were laughing.
They enjoyed.
When it favored them in Accra in the illegal by-elections that they had,
it's not illegal. It's not
because we're in court, and the judge, the ruling of the judge is questionable.
Did the judge say the election was illegal?
The judge said that they should proceed to go and have the elections. After all, if there is anything, he will be compensated. There's no compensation in election.
Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Please stay with me. I still have Musa Dankwa of Global Info Analytics, but let me bring in Larry Alansdogbe. He's a journalist, editor of The Herald. Larry, a clash between two cabinet ministers. The center is failing to hold in the Ayezu party. Fair assessment?
Umaru, good afternoon. And is it afternoon or evening? One of them.
It's in Ghana, it's evening. I don't know where you are.
Okay. I'm also in Ghana.
Okay.
Umaru, I think, what can I say? We saw this coming. We saw this coming. And we started writing about this sometime last year, where we kept drawing people's attention that Musa Dankwa's polls, I mean, however credible he claims they are, was going to bring this issue where personalities who have been given a mandate to perform were going to be embroiled in this kind of confusion, and then they would deviate from whatever it is that they had promised Ghanaians. People who had gone for election and gotten appointed based on regional balance, based on, parliamentary selection from parliament, based on tribal, whatever, or ethnic arrangements and so on. That the very moment we go to this point and then taking on polls, 2 months, 3 months into the selection of a government, we are going to have this issue. Some people, including your institution, I recall Bernard Avle and, some others, had issues with it, that we were saying that Musa Dankwa's polls, was going to create a problem, or that they were not credible, so-called. However, Umaru, I think that I don't know what can be salvaged as we speak. There were issues with the polls at the time. Musa couldn't tell us that every 3 months or every 90 days, he was sampling the opinions of 700,000 people. He couldn't tell us that.
700,000?
Yes, look, if you like, go and read some of his the numbers that he gave us as the respondent to the polls.
I'm watching.
And some of them he says he was calling them by phone. Others he claimed he was calling them. He had people who were going round wherever the constituencies and be talking to them. But the very critical question that Musa has to answer is this: Musa, these delegates that you kept talking about, the NDC hasn't even done polling station elections yet. It hasn't done constituency elections yet. It hasn't done regional elections. To think of national. So you can't say that you already have delegates that you're already talking to. Unless, of course, you've made them up.
Okay. When you spoke, he opened his mouth because I'm watching him on the Zoom screen. Musa, Larry has
Google some of his distance. Google some of his reports. You see the respondents that he has over there.
He's here. I want him to
a point where even research students in Legon or Gimpa or wherever, I'm not sure they can talk to 700,000 students. 700,000 people in 3 months and come out with the polls that Musa turns out. And I'm saying that the delegates are not in existence as we speak. So where is he getting the delegates from to be speaking to?
Musa, they say, who are you talking to? Ghosts, and the number is huge.
Umaru, I hold myself very strongly not to appear to be derogatory to people when they speak, and from media side. And as a media person, I expect him to do a research of what he's saying, whatever he's putting out. He has no record of, I don't know where he gets his
Umaru, Google it.
No, I would rather you, Larry, you Google it and then read it to me, and then that way my audience would also hear. I can fact check it for you, but please you read it yourself while Musa is responding.
Umaru, we have shared every report we have generated in this country to media men, including you, Umaru. Every report comes to you, and we tell you the sample size we've engaged and who we engaged. We interview voters every 90 days. We have only done 2 NDC delegate interviews. The first interview was 5,778. The second survey was 4,620. Where is this media guy getting his facts from? Umaru, ask him for me.
Larry, where do you get the 700,000 from? Because I have also Googled, I've not seen it, and he has been sending me his reports. I've not seen it in there.
What did you get? What did you get?
No, I'm just saying that I didn't get 700,000. Did you get any?
I'm coming.
Maybe maybe 7,000, and you thought you saw 700,000. That day you were not wearing your glasses. Maybe. So maybe you should apologize to him, and then we can make progress, because I'm not sure he has said 700,000. That's huge. That's almost 1 million.
No, that's really huge. His numbers are really huge.
But he said he has not
been that number of stuff that he sends around.
But he said he hasn't. He said he hasn't done, and so now you have to prove that
I'm coming. I'm googling it to get you that.
Yes, please.
Okay, but he's sent out a lot of polls, not just on NDC, but even on MPP, where the numbers are really huge. I can't immediately locate the particular one right now. But Umaru, his numbers that he's channeled over the period since last year, they have been very huge.
But you enjoyed when his post.
I'm coming. I mean, let's not use just the numbers. Umaru, who does an opinion poll on a government that is barely formed?
Let me hear from him, Musa.
Who does an opinion? I mean, you already assessing you are throwing presidential whatever people in
Umaru. Ghana is not an island. I'm shocked like people is saying this, because it means it's completely oblivious what is happening in global democracy. Absolutely shocking. The very day
in 2 days after a minister takes office or a government takes office, you do a poll.
Please. Let me respond. Please. Our reports have always been out there, and it's not about elections. 90% of our data is not about elections, it's about governance. That one, you don't complain about them. You are only complaining because we are bringing people are thinking about who should replace Mahama. That is your problem. And you feel that
which people are thinking?
Look, Umaru, when we do every poll, we indicate which population we engaged. If it's general voters, we tell you these are general voters. And among them, you see the views of MPP voters, the views of floating voters, and the views of MPP voters or NDC. And when we interview delegates, we tell you these are delegate views. You can't misconstrue delegates to the general public. And we know why we're doing the two separately. Because we are asking people who would they prefer. We're not asking them who would you vote for to lead NDC, because they don't have vote. And if you don't want them to know who they prefer, that's your business. It's not mine. We are here to do polling.
Most are 2 months into the formation of a government, and you're asking people who they vote for.
I don't care about your view. I care about the people who we are.
No, you should care about my view, because my view. I think there are people who share that this view with me, and they feel that you are being paid to do this.
That is what he said.
I'm sure you've come across this. Musa, I'm coming. Look. Musa, I'm coming. I'm sure you've come across some of these accusations to a point where you've taken a journalist to court because she alluded to something to that effect.
Larry.
You got it. Are you also worried that? Are you worried also that people who have been given a mandate by Ghanaians are not working, but they are rather chasing presidential ambition?
It's for the president to sack them. I don't care what he does. Okay. My poll is not for you NDC people. If you don't like it, you can close your eyes. As simple as that.
But you said you've been talking to the NDC people. You are saying that I'm coming. Musa, 1 minute. You said you've been talking to NDC delegates, and that you asked them who would they vote for, and then after that you you bring out this the results of this, and you are saying that it's not for them. Then who is it for? Are they not Ghanaians?
What I'm saying to you is that if you don't want them to talk to us, give them instruction to talk to us. Or we are talking to them.
Who are the we?
Look, Umaru, we were here when MPP were accusing that we are taking money from NDC, and the same guys were defending us. Now they are accused of taking money. These are the politicians who speak with
Umaru, Larry, wait for him to land. Larry, wait for Musa to land. Larry, wait for Musa to land.
Anybody's feelings. We don't get feelings. You see, we serve a bigger market. Among people who are looking at our data are international businesses who want to know what's going to happen 3 years down the line. We're not going to wait for NDC to be ready. We are not going to wait for anybody to be ready. We started polling MPP in 2022. MPP primaries. They didn't complain. And we have kept that systematic approach of polling non-stop. We have not altered it. Why should we do so for NDC?
Very well.
Why did the MPP not complain about division in their party when Avle Goto and Co were contesting?
Musa, because you didn't do those polls 2 months after the formation of Akufo's government.
In fact, wait. Larry, wait. Haruna Mohammed is of the NPP. He wants to say something on this. Musa, please.
I think I want to make a political clarification here. I've heard Larry talked about no delegates yet. In every political party, we have delegates when we are going for delegate election. So all delegates within the setup of all political parties are officers of the party. And until their tenure of office ends, we have delegates until elections are conducted.
So there are delegates.
Yes, there are delegates. I want to state the point that there are delegates
whose tenure is yet
to expire. Okay. If there is a by-election, God forbid, and they are to go for primaries, delegates will go and elect the parliamentary candidate for the specific political party. So there is always a delegate until the termination point comes and succession also comes in.
Very well.
And again, you see, all these issues about polling and all the outcomes of polls, I think that we can always disagree with polls, but we can also test the outcome of the polls if the variables that has been used is exposed to us. And we also get the report. We can put those particular outcomes to very strict analysis, following the same procedure that has been used. You can get similar or exact or even vary a bit from that. So for me, this matter of Musa Dankwa should stop the polling, he's disturbing the government of the NDC. We have come to the era that we need to check and put accountability. So check and balances. So these matters, they should find a way to live with it, just as we have lived with it. When it comforted the NDC, they were happy with it.
So they should bear the pain.
Yes, they should bear the pain. Larry, I think that let's leave him alone to conduct his polls.
Larry, it's your birthday today, so you go and celebrate your birthday and leave Musa to do his
Umaru, let me say this before. And it's in response to Aruna. Listen, the contention about delegates album, and this one was supposed to be there and this one wasn't there, and that he has been inserted, and some people who are favorites of somebody has been inserted. So this bit about perpetual delegates or something, it's neither here nor there. It's not true, because every stage of the political process, delegates are elected to make a decision on a particular.
Yeah, but he has said that, for instance, if there were to be a by-election today, NDC wouldn't go and do branch election to choose delegates who would vote for that or executive. They would have already been existing.
Even if there's a by-election today, Umaru, some people who have passed could be replaced.
Okay, so that means that there's a list of delegates that you can work with.
Some people who have passed could be replaced. But I'm saying that even in this process, the election of the flag bearer will go through various processes before we get to that point of election.
Okay.
So it's not like, you don't start an opinion poll just 2 days after the formation of government, or when the government hasn't even been formed.
Very well. Larry, happy birthday, and thank you for speaking to us.
I'm grateful. I'm waiting for your cake.
No, cake is not good for you. Too sugary. Larry Alansdogbe is editor of the Network Herald. Musa, do you feel pressured to stop this, or you would continue pushing. And again, the question I think that Larry and maybe Andy was saying, do you think nationally, because there was a view in the past that, listen, we should have campaign vacation period, and that when a president is elected, as soon as he's sworn in, we start a new campaign for the next 4 years, and that is not healthy for our democracy, and that we should have a vacation period for campaigning, and that should include your polling and everything election related?
Look, let me tackle the last one. Pollsters are not part of government machinery. Pollsters are researchers, and they research on matters, and they tend to understand what is going on. In America, they have been doing daily tracking poll of the president since 1950, daily, not even monthly or weekly, daily. That's a mature democracy. Now, when you do polls, it gives you the sense of where people are. It is not meant to be a prediction. No, it's not a prediction. They should not be taking the polls as a prediction of the future. It is as at today, what are people thinking and what are delegates thinking? Now, we understand and we know that there are delegates whose term would expire. But until it expires, we have delegates. Now, what we do as scientists or researchers is that, okay, if I use the current album, what is the performance of the candidates? If the album changes and I repeat the poll, would that new album have significant impact on the outcome of the first poll? For me, I know what I'm doing. If it doesn't know what it's doing, it's let us alone to do our work. They are not obliged to use our poll. They are not obliged to even let their media houses carry it. It will still go on because our clients are bigger than them.
All right, let's leave it here. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Musa.
My pleasure.
That's Musa Dankwa. He's with Global Info Analytics. I still have in studio Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. All right, let's talk about your party now. You were fighting the judiciary recently, and you decided to send a petition. You are fighting judiciary.
We disagreed with the judiciary on matters.
Just 1.5 years into opposition.
Even in government, we disagree with the judiciary on a number of matters.
You did not.
We did.
We don't remember. Remind us.
Jomoro.
Okay.
You know very well that there was a court ruling on Jomoro.
Mm-hmm.
We disagreed with it.
Okay.
There are a number of cases that we disagreed with the judiciary.
Mm-hmm.
Judicial opinions, when they are being expressed through discretion, have every member of the state can question those particular rulings based on point of law. And we have been doing so ever since we were in government opposition and up to the time that we are in opposition today. So we have been very consistent in our critique of the judiciary. And where the judiciary need to be applauded, we did so.
Okay, so now this is your petition that you have sent. You sent it to the international community. I think you also petitioned the Chief Justice.
Yes, we did.
What has been happening since then? And because Abronya this year, I think again, is in custody.
Yes, we understand that he has been remanded again following his inability to submit his passport, as we are told. But the lawyers are working on it. I spoke with Kojopa Nkrumah, whose firm is working on this particular case,
okay,
that the passport has been presented. But as at the time that I came into the studio, I have not gotten an update on the current happening as to whether the processes have been concluded, because that was what was left.
But your petition, you wanted the judge to be sacked, or what do you want the Chief Justice to do? And what have you heard?
Yes,
so far?
We haven't gotten any response from the Chief Justice. We've also petitioned the international community on these particular matters that is happening currently in the country. What we are asking the judiciary to do on this particular judge is that the judge, based on his ruling to remand Abronya, to the fact that it was not as a result of flight risk or any other matter that is contained in our legal process, but only to say that if Abronya is granted bail, Abronya will go and commit similar crime. So if he will commit similar crime, what he is being dealt with is not established as a crime. is not yet established as a crime. It's not also established that he actually committed it. So on what basis would the judge describe it as a crime? And on which substance did you seek to believe that he will commit same, which has not been described as a crime? But you have already described that as a crime, and you are yet
you can
to
describe
adjudicate
it as an offense.
So, but he said he's going to commit the same crime. So, if he's going to adjudicate on the matter, his balance of power, his discretion will be abused. And on that sense, the party itself, not the lawyers, the party, the MPP as a party, petitioned that this judge should be recused from the case that he's sitting on. And this is not the first time. I was in court with the minority leader on the case of Baba Mando. I was in court at the Circuit Court 9. The prosecution came, and the argument in court, the prosecution never asked for remand of Baba Mando. They never asked for, and they did not oppose the application for bail.
I would not take your word for it, because the official court records, as we have seen, show that the prosecution opposed the bail request.
Not the second one.
Okay, I'm referring
the first
to
one. Baba Mando.
I'm referring to Abronye, not
the Baba Mando. Yes,
okay,
I was talking about Baba Mando.
Well,
I was personally sitting in court.
Very well.
And Osahini was very angry. The prosecution never opposed it. No documentation. Because, you know, in the Circuit Court or the High Court, when you are in the courtroom, they type, and the screen is facing each of the parties in court. None of this was there. The judge then asked the prosecution that what time limit will they have to be able to gather their evidence, and they said 2 weeks. Then the judge said that they should remand Baba Mando for 2 weeks. When we had put in an application for bail, the prosecution did not oppose the bail and did not also push it through the proceedings in court. But the judge pushed that on Baba Mando. So we saw that, what is happening? Judge Kunsun, what is it? And our checks revealed that he's not even up to a year on the bench. Just 6 months, a police officer who was serving police officer in somewhere in the Volta region and coming from Bunkurugu is sitting on the case and is messing up with some of the aspects of the law on procedure. So if he has proceeded to do what he did on Abronye, then there is that question of repeating, and also his balance of power in terms of use of discretion is questionable, because he has not exhausted all the legal proceedings to establish guilt, but he has pronounced guilt on an individual, and we need to make sure that such is corrected, and that is why we petition the Chief Justice.
How is the MPP doing generally, though, in your reorganization and your plans to elect executives and all of that?
Umaru, we are doing very well. All the processes that we have put in, we have a very strict guideline in terms of how elections are going to be organized within the party. You know that the polling station level, we started the polling station. We conducted the elections for the polling stations from the 10th of May to the 16th of May, which has since been concluded. They are doing data entry as at now because there were some few challenges with respect to the data entry. The electoral area forms too have been released, and they are to conduct the elections between 11th to the 12th of from 10th to the 15th of June. That is this month. The electoral area elections will be done within that particular period. When it is also done, we'll move into the constituency executive elections, which will also be conducted on the 11th to the 12th of July. And from constituency, we'll move to the regional elections, which will be done between 8th and 9th of August. Between the regional elections, we'll be having the chapter and also the branch elections in the diaspora, which is also going to be fixed within the period, because the branch elections is the same as the constituency elections, and the branch elections is same as the regional elections, and the chapter elections is the same as the constituency. We've given them the same levels and the same structure. Then after the regional, the almighty national elections will be happening in September. That is between 18th to the 20th.
Are you contesting, or you have not decided yet?
It looks like I'm contesting, because I am working for lawyer Justin Kodua Frimpong, and I consider it as my personal contest.
Okay. Your position is appointed, it's not elected.
Yes.
So if he wins, then he can reappoint you. If he doesn't win, okay, are you appointed by the General Secretary or the party?
It is the party that does the appointment, but the General Secretary does the proposal.
Oh, okay. So for you, it's in your interest that JFK continues.
Even if I am not going to be appointed.
But he's running for General Secretary.
Fidelity to ensure that the General Secretary, Lawyer Justin Kodua, is given the second term.
Haruna Mohammed, Deputy to Justin Kodua Frimpong of the MPP. Thank you so much for joining us on Eyewitness.
Thank you, Umaru.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. When we come back, Minta Akando, the Minister for Health, has ordered the immediate suspension of the CEO of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. And then Mark Oliver Kevo, he's the Eastern Regional Secretary of the NDC. He has resigned as NITA boss so that he'll go and contest his party position. That and more here on Eyewitness News.
And we're working with going to cabinet on that to make sure that before you access any X-rated site, you must put either your driver's license or your national ID card so that we know who you are and who is going to that site to prevent children from being exposed.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
We're back, and the story that...
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. CitiNewsroom.com. Story by Letitia Ose, 5th June 2026. Minta Akando orders immediate suspension of CAF CEO. The story says the Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, has directed the board of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, CAF, to suspend the hospital's chief executive officer, Dr. Pakwesi Beidu, for 2 weeks with immediate effect over the announcement of a temporary suspension of emergency admissions at the facility. The directive was contained in a letter dated June 5, 2026, following the CEO's decision to announce the suspension of emergency admissions at the hospital. According to the minister, the action was taken in contravention of directives issued by President John Dramani Mahama regarding the management of the situation at the hospital. There's a quote here which says, pursuant to Section 36(1) of the Ghana Health Service and Teaching Hospitals Act 1996, Act 526, I'm respectfully directing the board to suspend the chief executive officer for a period of 2 weeks with immediate effect for causing to be announced the suspension of admissions of emergency cases to the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital on Wednesday, June 3, 2026. Quote, end of quote, the letter said. Let me speak to Dr. Michael Leet. He is chairman of the Konfanochi Doctors Association. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
Has this come to your attention, the announcement or the statement by the Minister for Health in relation to your hospital CEO?
Well, yeah, as usual, I just found out from social media. I mean, why it was there, I don't know, but that's what I've seen on social media. I've confirmed it with my chief executive.
Do you agree with this procedure?
Do I agree with what?
The procedure of the suspension due to his public statements which he made, which the minister believes is in contravention with the presidential directive.
Okay, so what I can say now is this. All the unions in Konfanochi will be meeting. And in due course, you hear a response. And it will be very strict.
But was it not, okay, the announcement that was made by the CEO, first of all, should it have been made? Would it not cause fear and panic?
I beg to differ. You see, I spoke to this yesterday, and I told you that it wasn't a singular decision. It was a decision of the Regional Health Administration, Konfanochi, and all the other hospitals. So if anything, why are all the other people not suspended?
But the buck stops with the boss, no?
The what?
The buck stops with the boss, and he's the boss, and so ultimately he should control the narrative that would come from the hospital.
So what we are saying is the minister has made his position clear. We as professionals, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, who are the front line of treating patients, felt that was the best decision to take. So we're going to meet as unions, as professionals, without sentiment, and make our views known to the ministry.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us, Doc.
You're welcome.
That's Dr. Michael Leet. He's chairman of the Confanochi Doctors Association. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Charlie, dream I'm nice. I get some serious meeting. Allah, motion. But Charlie, no credit today. Oh, but you relax. Momo day.
Hey, what funny.
Yes, so I borrow small, sort myself out. I pay back. We move. Sport day. Ah, Charlie, you sure say you dey pay back? Yes, so that anytime somebody else they need them, Momo day. Be like I for can't borrow some more. Hey, you this boy. Don't go there and disgrace yourself. Allah, motion.
Responsible borrowing be the real flexo for today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. Borrow, sort them, pay back. Momo day.
Hello, good afternoon. I am calling from your bank. We are currently experiencing a system downtime, so we need to secure your account. Please, can you confirm your account number and your login details so we can restore access immediately? Yes, your username and password, just to verify.
Beware of fraudsters. Your bank will never ask for your login details, PIN or password over the phone. Shine your eye. Spot the fraud. Stop the fraud. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks.
If you spot the fraud, you go fit to stop the fraud. Make you know they lose God.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. It's 17 minutes past 6, 97.3 Citi FM. Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandama. It is now time for news summaries, and Fafa Melody Potiphar is in studio. Fafa, what are the summaries of the news, the big stories today?
Well, we'll start from the Ashanti region, particularly with the Confanochi Teaching Hospital, where residents in Kumasi are demanding the swift completion of the stalled 500-bed maternity and children's block at Confanochi Teaching Hospital. The call follows the hospital's recent suspension of emergency admissions due to congestion at its accident and emergency center. Residents say the development exposed the pressure on the facility and highlights the need for expanded healthcare infrastructure.
Emergency was 37 and half 40.
If the emergency center is full, there is little the hospital can do. That is not about politics. It is about healthcare. Government should expedite funding and ensure the completion of the 500-bed maternity and children's block to help ease the pressure on Confanochi Teaching Hospital.
Confanochi Teaching Hospital is a major referral center, so it is important that resources are invested in completing the 500-bed maternity and children's block. We are pleading with the government to release the needed.
You had some residents of Kumasi demanding the swift completion of the stalled 500-bed maternity and children's block at the Confanochi Teaching Hospital. Moving on, the Municipal Chief Executive for Takwa Nswayi, Ebenezer Kobina, says the Assembly will intensify desilting and other flood mitigation measures following heavy rains that nearly disrupted the ongoing WASI at Takwa Secondary School. Speaking to Citi News, he noted that several communities were also affected by the floods, adding that the Assembly, in collaboration with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is developing permanent solutions to address the perennial problem.
School area that you mentioned, it has been something like perennial or annual something. Every year it happens. Every year it happens. Last year I was there myself to also appreciate the situation. And in fact, there were some work that we did there. There are some that tests that we had to put, and we did all those tests. This time, before even the rain, we also organized some individuals. They got us machines to also resort the gutters. Unfortunately, the downpour was very heavy, and it started as early as the dawn. So how the thing happened, in fact, it took all of us by surprise. We thought that what we had done there, I mean, the task force precisely could solve the problem, but how the thing happened, in fact, it's appalling. In fact, yesterday, the downpour, it didn't affect Tasco alone, as you said. In fact, the whole of Takwap, most of the places were affected. But as municipal assembly is concerned, and my Admiral Director is also concerned, we are putting plans in place. In fact, to make sure that there are some places we have to dissort, then we dissort.
That was the Municipal Chief Executive for Takwa Nswayim, Ebenezer Kobna. Let's stay a bit more on the recent flooding in major parts of the capital. Officials of the National Disaster Management Organization have warned that the indiscriminate disposal of waste into major drains could undermine efforts by city authorities. The officials expressed concern over the continued accumulation of plastic waste in drains that were recently dredged as part of measures to reduce flooding ahead of the rainy season. Godwin Lahu Dela, the Admiral Director for the Kumasi Metropolis, has been speaking on the issue.
If I say it's a challenge, truly it is. It is a challenge because when you are doing something and someone's attitude is not actually helping for people to realize what you are doing, then it is a serious challenge. So we hope that as we educate them, as we warn them, they will take it and prevent this kind of thing that are actually occurring. That is the only way now. Prosecuting, arresting, and also educating, creating the awareness. That is what we have to do now. Whilst alongside, we are discerning. Almost all the waterways, especially when you have this wide place, there is Bantama, Oshim, and so forth. Atafua, we deserted Atafua. The airport roundabout area, we deserted. And all these places have been deserted. That is why, if not, most of the time, by this time, we hear the airport roundabout, the this and that, Biase, all Biase have been deserted. All these have been done through the effort of the regional director and the mayor.
That was the NADMO Director for the Kumasi Metropolis, Godwin Lahu Dela. In other news, the National Association of Institutional Suppliers says it is yet to hear from government regarding its demand for arrears amounting to 50 million cedis. The association says unpaid debt for contracts executed under both the previous and current administrations have left suppliers unable to continue operations. Speaking to City News, the president of the association, Emmanuel Aivo, said the group has given government up to June 11 to settle the payment.
At the moment, we have not heard anything from the government. We've not had any engagement since we started the picketing. The information or the plan picketing, we've not heard anything from the government as we speak.
So are you currently producing uniforms for students?
At the moment, we are not producing any uniform at the moment because those in first year, we've not received go ahead to work for them. Despite some of our members have in stock the materials because we produce them in a larger quantity. So some members have materials in stock. But we are to wait for schools to open for tender before. So as we speak, the first years will be going to second year in September. There has not been any directive to work for them. So we are currently on hold. We actually anticipate that payments will be before 11th of June. If not, on that day, we'll be picketing.
That was the president of the National Association of Institutional Suppliers, Emmanuel Aivo.
Thank you so much, Fafa Melody Botufe of the City Newsroom with news summaries of the day. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go back to the story of the National Democratic Congress now. And a few days ago, we brought you a story that the NDC has said that if you are elected, if you are an executive, as in a member of the government, and you wish to run for a party office, you would have to resign. Now, the deadline, we are told, was at the end of the month that just ended. One of the people who decided to do that is the incumbent regional chairman, Eastern Regional Chairman of the NDC, who was the head of the NITA, the institution under the Ministry of Communication, Mark Oliver Kevo. He's joining us on the line now for a confirmation of this resignation and the way forward. Mr. Kevo, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much.
First of all, can you confirm to me that you indeed have resigned as NITA boss, and tell us why?
Yes, I can confirm you have resigned as Acting Director General for the National IT Agency.
Why? Because many people were asking for position, many people were calling for selection. You got selection and you decided to deselect yourself. That's not usual in our
Yes,
politics.
I'm so much grateful. I'm so much grateful to the president for giving me the opportunity to serve in his government for the past year and some months. It's been a pleasure serving under one of the most intelligent, one of the most hardworking ministers, Honorable Sam George. A lot in the digital transformation area that we've done together within the year. We've achieved so much, we've done so much, and I'm so much grateful for His Excellency for giving me another bite of public service. At this point in time, I will want to focus on my unexpired term as regional chairman of the Eastern region. And then when there's opportunity for elections, re-elections, I may offer myself for that opportunity.
Many people see political party positions as a stepping stone into government. You have, I remember you as regional secretary for Eastern, then you became the chairman for Eastern. The logical thing is that, oh, you're going to look for a position. So Abayin Papa came and they gave you a position. You're supposed to continue to serve and then you keep progressing from there. Why return to go and retain the same position you currently have? What is so important about being Eastern Regional Chairman of the NDC than serving Ghanaians in general, 33 million people?
You are assuming that being a political party leader is not also service to the country. You can imagine that you will not be having this conversation without democracy. If there wasn't democracy in Ghana, I'm not sure, Sanda, we'll be having this conversation from the comfort of the studios of Citi. So having very strong political parties, strong, vibrant political parties to support government, especially if the party has government in power, it's very key. And you will not disagree with me that we need very strong political parties as much as we need very strong people also in government. So it's not a neither nor. It's quite unfortunate that our party rules for the next elections just decided that you may have to choose one. And that prior to His Excellency appointing a number of us into government, there were no such rules. So we had all held on the assumption that we are government appointees, we will work for government whilst we manage the party also. Because apart from the general secretary of the party, who works full-time and paid monthly as a party officer, all other party officers, prior to coming into government, we used to do our own work, we used to do our own business, and then manage the party also. So if at the point of appointment, we had known that we had a choice, perhaps we wouldn't have been having this resignation conversation. I think that the work that we did in the Eastern region, and I'm sure you know Eastern region when we talk about elections, we have moved from 36.8% to 48%, precisely 47.4%. That is almost 48%. This achievement and this journey towards making sure that Eastern region is a stronghold of NDC cannot just be thrown away because we are in government.
So it wasn't a difficult position.
A consolidation.
So it wasn't a difficult position resigning. Was it a difficult decision resigning?
Very, very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. And one person who is so much affected by it is my minister, because he knows the kind of work I was doing. He knows the things that we are currently developing legislations that are going to enable the environment. We are putting together systems in there. We are putting in place a clearance regime, technical clearance regime, to make sure that government ICT programs are not duplicated. Government ICT programs are interoperable. There are a lot that we were doing in there.
Okay.
And I'm sure he has still not recovered from my decision not to continue.
Poor Samuel Attah, George, talking about him, he will be on the big issue with me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So I'll ask him how.
Great.
Maybe if he wants a replacement, I'm happy to take up your position for you if he needs me. But moving forward, this is a party decision that once you intend to run for a party office, you have to resign, and you have respected that. But do you think that it would have been possible for you to continue to hold your office and still run? What I mean is that even though you have obeyed and acted on the party's decision, do you think that the party's position is correct? Or if you had your way, people who are members of the government should continue to remain members of the government and run for an office like you are doing now?
Yeah, I don't see any challenge with that. In the past, we have run it before. Even there were members of parliament who were still holding party positions in the past. So we have moved from certain regimes that worked for us indeed, and unfortunately to this regime. Once the National Executive Committee of the party has taken their decision, my disagreement will not matter. I'm bound to respect the decisions of the National Executive Committee. So I respect the National Executive Committee's decision. I was in NEC that day. I made efforts to,
shoot it down,
provide counter arguments against why this may not inure to the strength of the party and all that. Well, at the end of the day, democracy won on that day. So I respect the decision of NEC, no matter my disagreement, and I've gone ahead to demonstrate my respect for the next decision.
Well, wish you all the best. And the election is what, November or August? Would you hope that when you go, win or lose, you should come back to your position?
Well, I'm not sure. The president will be waiting for me to go into my election and take that decision. I'm sure that the government will continue to run. I'm very hopeful that with the kind of work we did in the Eastern region, the people who matter in the Eastern region, if it matters to them, if achievement matters to them, if the strength of the party in the Eastern region matters to them, if the direction where we are going in Eastern region from 36.8 to 48% and projecting into the future, if it matters to them, I'm sure they will retain me. And the kind of goodwill messages, the kind of solidarity I've received since last night till now from the constituency executives, those I worked with to achieve this result, I'm so much confident that they will retain me as regional chairman, and we will support the government positively as a party.
Talking about supporting the government, there's a view that all those people in the government who are at minister level, who are having ambitions, should just start resigning already, because it appears there's a conflict between their roles and the working for the president. What would be your advice to them? I mean, I know that you think that no, it shouldn't be a problem, but in this particular instance, it appears many people hold the view that it is affecting the governance of the country.
Well, I'm not seeing the effects yet. Every indicators of governance that we are used to as a country, they are all positive. I've not seen anything that is a challenge apart from the sensationalism and people who want to make news out of some of these things. Already, I understand. Ghanaians are hungry for scandals. Ghanaians are hungry for bad news about NDC and the government. We are used to having a government in place with scandals month after month. So this is a kind of new regime. So anything that doesn't warrant sensationalism, people will try to spin and then make it sensational. But I think that the Council of Elders have spoken, and I'm aligned with what the Council of Elders are saying. We should all focus. If we want to support government, let us support government wholeheartedly, and at the right time. It is the NDC party that will make the decision. It is the branch executives, the constituency executives, the regional executives, national executives that will make the decision. And I'm sure by that time, it is the work that you have done in the past till now that will inform the decisions of the delegates. So I think that it is not a problem. I'm not seeing any negative effect on the governance of the country. But I'm sure everybody is working, and all the rest, I've not seen anybody openly campaigning or openly announcing their interest in becoming flag bearer. I've not seen that yet. I've not seen anybody meeting party people, at least from where I sit. I'm a regional chairman. If there are such meetings, I will know. I've not seen such thing happening. So they are all in the realms of rumors.
Very well.
And until they decide to actively jump into the race, we will keep them as rumors.
Mark, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thanks, Sander. And you promised me Banku and tilapia after the news. So
No, that's not what happened. Now that I have mentioned it, let me say what happened. I said that we were friends before you got government appointment. After you chopped government appointment for 50 months, you didn't let me enjoy, and now you resign. So your resignation.
Now I'm out.
So I'll let the president know that your resignation should not be accepted until you make your friend enjoy. I need to know my friend was in government. 50 months. I didn't see that.
We'll do an exit party together.
That'll be better. That'll be better. All the best. Thank you so much. That's Mark Oliver.
Thank you for the opportunity, my brother.
Mark Oliver Kevo is Eastern Regional Chairman of the NDC, until a few days ago was Director General of the NITA. He's decided to resign so that he can concentrate on seeking re-election as the Eastern Region Chairman of the NDC. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still ahead, we have Talk Back, where I would be getting your reactions to the stories we've been bringing you via WhatsApp on X as well. But before then, we have business news, the latest from the Citi Business Desk. And Nashika Caesar is sitting in front of me. Now, what do we have?
Securities and Exchange Commission targets diaspora capital to boost Ghana's investment market. And GRA assures businesses integrated tax administration system will not introduce new taxes.
So no new taxes, according to GRA.
Taxes. I'm sure businesses will be excited.
They'll be excited, but no hidden taxes, nothing. At least that's what they have said.
Hopefully not.
Please read the stories for us.
Coming up, the Ghana Revenue Authority has assured taxpayers that its newly introduced Integrated Tax Administration System, ITAS, will not result in new taxes or additional cost for businesses as it expands the digital platform to more taxpayers across the country. Speaking at a stakeholder engagement in Accra on Friday, Commissioner General Anthony Kwesi Sarpong said the ITAS platform is designed to improve efficiency, simplify tax administration, and enhance service delivery. He called on the business community to actively participate in the rollout process by providing feedback on the system's performance.
The introduction of ITAS is not going to lead to the payment of any additional new taxes. This is an efficiency process system that we are introducing. So I want to assure each and every one of you that the introduction of ITAS is not coming with any hidden taxes. So don't be afraid to embrace it. And don't say that once I embrace ITAS, it means that government is going to ask me to pay more. ITAS is not bringing in any new taxes or any new costs. Rather, it's going to help us to be efficient, save costs, help us to be more connected with our GRE offices, and ensure that we can deliver or we can fulfill our tax obligations in a more seamless manner.
That was Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sarpong, speaking there. Away from that, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is working with market operators and regulators to create safer and more efficient channels for diaspora investments in Ghana's capital markets. The initiative comes amid concerns that many Ghanaians in the United Kingdom, the United States, and other countries face difficulties transferring funds to invest in regulated financial products in Ghana. Speaking on the sidelines of a consultative meeting with broker dealers and other capital market stakeholders, SEC Deputy Director General for Finance Mensah Thompson said the Commission is exploring measures to remove barriers that limit diaspora participation in Ghana's capital market.
I engaged our ambassadors in the UK and the US, and I realized that there was a lot of problems in terms of Ghanaians in the diaspora who wanted to invest back home and did not know how to go about it. In fact, in the UK, the ambassador raised an issue of a delegation she received from Ghanaian citizens in the UK who wanted to help government invest in any infrastructure project, like the Inca Dam in Ethiopia, where the diasporans raised money for the Ethiopian government to build a dam. They said, look, if government can point out a particular feasible infrastructure project which is income generating and how long it's going to pay for it, the diasporans are willing to mobilize money and come and invest in the project. And that really struck me, because I realized that there's a lot of interest in the diasporans to invest back home.
That was the Deputy Director General of Finance of Securities and Exchange Commission, Mensah Thompson, speaking there. Now, Unilever Ghana PLC has declared a final dividend of 1 Ghana cedi per share, totaling 62.5 million Ghana cedis for the 2025 financial year. The dividend, I beg your pardon, was approved at the company's 52nd annual general meeting, reflecting a strong performance for the year. Profit rose to 96 million Ghana cedis in 2025, up from 58 million Ghana cedis in 2024. Board Chairman Charles Nimaku said the company remains focused on delivering sustainable value and consistent returns to shareholders while strengthening long-term growth.
Dividend side, I think if you look at the historical, you go back to the last 5 years or maybe 10 years, Unilever has always increased its dividend year on year. Actually, this year, the increase was quite substantial, 67% versus the previous year. I think you don't get many companies that do that. And Unilever has done it. The things that we're doing, our execution in the trade, our brand support, our people, I think gives me confidence and hope that our performance would only increase. It only improve in terms of our profitability. We generated cash of over 200 million Ghana cedis. We are sharing 62 million with the shareholders. There's some cash that we need to keep for reinvestment into the business, capital improvements, and things like that. And at the end of the day, we have to balance the two. How much cash do we need to manage the business, and how much do we need to give to the shareholders? But I can assure you that as we become more successful and we generate more cash, the dividend going to the shareholders will increase.
Managing Director, before that, Chris Nimaku is Board Chairman of Unilever Ghana PLC. The Managing Director, Chris Wolf Caesar, attributed the improved results to a more sustainable macroeconomic environment and the resilience of the company's key power brands.
The macro environment is good for business. Any business person you speak to in Ghana would like a much more stable environment to be able to plan and execute and therefore deliver for shareholders, which is what we've discussed with them today. I am not in a position to speculate what 2026 will be, but we all would like to have a stable macro business environment. Our focus right now is on our power brands, and I did mention some of them: Pepsodent, Vaseline, Lifebuoy, Comfort, Omo. We have quite a number of good brands in our portfolio already, even the likes of Dove, and they're all in there for us. So we believe that these results that we have shared with our shareholders today, there is still opportunity for growth in the Ghana market.
Chris Wolfe-Caesar is Managing Director of Unilever Ghana PLC. To some other stories now, and Stanbic Bank Ghana has donated relief items worth 400,000 Ghana cedis to the National Disaster Management Organization NADMO to support victims affected by recent floods and a fire outbreak at Tudu in Accra. Speaking to the media after the presentation, the head of business and commercial banking at Stanbic Bank Ghana, Diana Kaleo-Bio, said the donation reaffirms the bank's commitment to supporting communities during difficult times and helping affected victims rebuild their lives.
Good things in supporting the people who have gone through this disaster. And so we believe that equipping NADMO to be able to reach more of our impacted brothers and sisters will go a long way to support the purpose that we have as a bank. We have mattresses, we have first aid tools, we also have rice, we have tin fish, oil. All this is supposed to be more like an immediate support so that they can take some time to resettle their businesses and their families. So I have a message for those who have been impacted by the flood and the fire to say we sympathize with them. For those who have lost lives, we say that we mourn with you, and we are hoping that the next time there's rain, we all put in the necessary measures to make sure this doesn't impact us. So for those that live in areas where they know that it's prone to flood, I think by this time, with the education that I see going on by NADMO and other state institutions, we'll all learn lessons from it and know how best to manage ourselves. But they have the sympathy of Stanbic Bank, both from the board, from the CE and the staff.
Diana Kaleo-Bio is the head of business and commercial banking at Stanbic Bank Ghana. The Deputy Director General in charge of livelihoods and migration at NADMO, Alalzuga Albert Akuga, described the donation as timely and expressed appreciation to Stanbic Bank Ghana for its support to disaster victims.
Anytime anything happens in the country, the public is expecting NADMO to come in. But unfortunately, NADMO is underfunded, to be honest. Government alone, as I mentioned, is unable to handle all the issues of relief and re-establishment of victims after a disaster strikes. And you know, Ghana, we have a lot of we have disasters all year round.
Alalzuga Albert Akuga is Deputy Director General in charge of livelihoods and migration at NADMO. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Nashika Caesar. Sanda, back to you.
Nashika Caesar in her Ghana Black Stars jersey.
Oh, yes.
Charlie. No, you have hope for the Black Stars.
Do you want the truth or you want a beauty pageant response?
Don't give me beauty pageant response.
Oh, yes, I do. They are awesome. They are a formidable force. Did you watch their last game? I surely was impressed.
Wow.
You're bringing the cup home.
Hey, nah. This is inflation figure you are giving me. Thank you so much. Nashika Caesar with the City Business Desk. Up next, we'll bring you your voice via Talkback.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
From the heart of Africa we stand, building dreams across the land. Every step we take aside, helping you rise, taking you higher. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African Bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. lifting you higher.
Who they brass? We they brass them. Who they brass? We they brass them. Who they brass? We they brass them. Brass your taste. Brass your teeth every day and night. After eating before bed, brass the gems away. The sugar jam, go brass them. Fufu jam, go brass them. Rice jam, go brass them. Go.
When it comes to your teeth, Funnel World Cup. Brush them twice daily with Pepsodent, now in limited edition packs. This advert is FDA approved.
From the heart of Africa we stand, building dreams across the land. Every step we did your side, helping you rise, taking you higher. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher. African bank with global reach. BOA make your future glow. We go there for you night and day. Strong as a group, close as a partner. Bank of Africa lifting you higher.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. This segment is called Talkback, where we take your messages raw but edited, not unedited. Where if we don't edit them and we read them, down matter go come. Now, the messages you've been sending through our WhatsApp number 0539 986 996. The ones you've been going to mention me on X at Umaru Sanda and at Citi973. And the ones you've been writing on our YouTube channel are already for you in this Talkback segment. Fred is in studio to help me with that. Fred, let's start.
So let's go to YouTube and see what people on YouTube are saying. This is from William Goleku. He says, pure speculations. This is in reference to the NDC and a situation.
Yeah.
Then Demi Malkson says, the news editor should know that the word release doesn't mean that the money is in the account. The controller has to go through some processes to send the money to the account. A Greek ministry PR rush, meaning that the Greek ministry's PR came too early to make the comment. We have got Sentenge, who says the editor is not part of the government. Then Demi Malkson also comes back and says NDC doesn't actually have active delegates, as Larry is saying. So this is with regards to Larry's concerns that there were no delegates at the moment for the NDC. He's saying that indeed there are delegates until a new election is held.
So Kofi Asenso tweets at me and says, very interesting that today Larry and his friends are attacking Musa Dankwa. The chickens will definitely come home to roost. And I believe that's where you're heading next.
Then there's Victor Kowari Yiri. He says, Umaru, please ask Mush, who is going to succeed Trump in the USA?
Trump will say that he doesn't want to step down. No, you just did and wait. Lipe Abayi on Twitter says, why should a distortion between the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Agriculture become your headline news? When you've not spoken to the two ministries, neither your editors nor MPP communicators will explain the situation. Oh, but why do we have to speak to the two ministers when the two ministers have already spoken? The Deputy Minister, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Sojaman, who is the Deputy Finance Minister, he has spoken. What's his name? Help me with his name. And then
Apendako.
Yeah, Honorable Apendako. And then the spokesperson of the Ministry of Agric has penned down a statement. So they have spoken, essentially.
Rafael Nate says you cannot dictate to a pollster when and how he or she conducts his polls. Larry and Andy have no case in this matter.
Yeah, they would say no. They say they don't want Musa to do it. But again, I have been thinking that we should have a campaign vacation, and maybe if that's what they were advocating for, I would agree. But I have a polling there. Polling happens every day. When you watch the international news, they always do polling on so many things, and this happens all the time. I don't know whether it should be happening about politics all the time, by the way. But then the consumers are ready to consume. So if he was producing and no one was consuming, maybe he would stop. What do you think?
Yes, I think that for polls just give us an indication of what people are thinking, what the people want. It doesn't necessarily mean that and that is what is going to happen. So it's just an indication of where and how the people are thinking. So for me, I think that we should allow the polls to go on. Let's go to Enoch Kwabena Darko. He says you cannot ask him to tell you about Donald Trump. Ask the prophets. He's a Ghanaian poster, not American poster.
Sure. So they have their own debate ongoing in there. Okay. The Demi Markson says, never in my life did I hear hospital management sending notice to the public not to bring patients. We are fooling too much in Ghana. Okay. I don't know if I should use fooling, but the CEO has been suspended for 2 weeks.
So I think that he's not happy with the suspension of the CEO.
There are two things. If the hospital cannot accept patients, it's up to you as a hospital boss to announce that we cannot. But if there's possibility of you taking people and you decide to go and write that they should not bring them, then that was mischief.
That's true. And the hospital management at the time said the place was full and they couldn't take it.
Well, they say if your grandmother is asleep and you say she's dead, then she wake up. But if she's dead and you say she's asleep, and the smelling will wake her up. Akapo Junior for him says, the finance minister is only trying to sabotage the minister of agriculture, my MP, forgetting the bare fact that they work together to achieve a common good for Ghanaians. He's acting as if he owns the country, and it's about time he's told to release funds to various ministries. Oh, Akapo, you are very angry. Then we've been hearing these reports a lot of the time, Fred, where some of the appointees have been saying that the man is not releasing the money, that he's tight. Okay, one next message.
Jones Adoboy from La says, good evening, Omar. I believe this is just miscommunication between the two ministries. I can reliably confirm that this issue have long been resolved. Your analysis linking to succession issues falls flat. Sam George is really making sense We must listen to him before our young ones are destroyed. Aban Papa Abba.
Okay. Kwame Fiak from Lexington, Kentucky. You know Kentucky? I've been in Kentucky and I aim to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. You know what I mean? Over there. That's where Kwame is sending his message from. Musa Dankwa is the one creating problems in NDC. He must be asked to stop. That's simply what Kwame has sent his message talking about. Jacob Akazuza from Pusiga in the Upper East region. He's the treasurer of the NPP there. He says the disagreement between the Agric Ministry and the Finance Ministry is what we all call autoimmunity in medicine, where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own healthy cells, tissues, and organs. This is not the first time we are hearing some of these internal fights in the NDC. These in-house fights in the NDC are directly proportional to the struggle for power as to who succeeds His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Fred.
We go to Kaswa, and Isaac is
Iron City.
Samaria, his hometown.
Yes.
Good evening, Omar Sanda. All those who are eyeing to replace President Mahama after his tenure are digging a big hole, both for the president's legacy and the NDC party as a whole.
Ayo. John Kekeli Bansa, who calls himself Koku Bansa on social media, he's from Abuti-Ateti. Both he and Yoga Wales, they are from Abuti-Ateti. Now, Koku Bansa is a party MPP executive there. Yoga Wales, I think he's NDC member. He's not, but they always listen to us from there. He says, Atuforsin is strangling Ghana's farmers with one hand while waving propaganda with the other. When your own agriculture ministry calls you out for fabricating figures, the credibility crisis is complete. NDC promised to feed Ghana, but instead they are feeding us lies. Typical of the NDC, big speeches, empty granaries. Okay, next. Ejaba in Insakina, or is it Ejaba from Insakina, or Ejaba in Insakina in Accra?
Ejaba is from Insakina in Accra. Omar, good evening. As a regular continued deeper 24/7 listener of Citi, I think where you are going in your analytical story and the internal mechanism of who goes to the Jubilee House might be known before your probing story. The finance minister has never said he is a candidate. Such stories cut woes in the NDC. However, Attah-Forson together with Haruna is the best ticket for NDC 2028. Okay. Attah-Forson says he has not declared. He says Attah-Forson has not declared, but he says he concludes the message by saying that he's still the best candidate.
Maybe he wants the two of them together. In fact, he said the two of them. So Attah-Forson together with Haruna. So one is flag bearer, one is, I don't know who will be flag bearer and who will be running mate though. Let me load the last message and we can call it a night. Francis says, Assalamu alaikum. I repeat, NDC first ever presidential election is going to be an eventful one, but this issue has nothing to do with who becomes what. Government is not meeting its revenue targets and that is affecting allocations. Let's do one more, please. Ifya Dede from TM. Okay, Temakom 7, Nana Tufo Boatin's village. Temakom 7. It's very funny the Agric minister is fighting the finance minister, but be it as it may, there must be cooperation among ministers in this government, although competition is allowed. Well, that's it for Eyewitness News tonight, which came to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sandamadu. I was supported variously on air by Nashika Caesar and Fafa Melody Potife, and of course Fretete Jabano. Produced by Sami Wiafe, Kobna Wilson, Juliana Odami Asari, and Nana Tufo Boatin. Emmanuel Lati helped us with the technical production, and Edwin Kwakofi and the new media team supported us online. The sports desk or the sports team is ready to bring you Sports Panorama with just a few days to the World Cup. They will give you everything you need to know, every corner. I mean, Arsenal self has won the league, so it was a big deal. There will be more news and current affairs here on 97.3 Citi FM if you tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. with myself, bringing you the big issue also on Channel 1 TV. And at 8 p.m. tonight, Nana Tufo Boatin brings you CNR, where we bring you a wrap of the day's stories on TV. We'll see you on Monday, God willing. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302